my channel. Thank you so much for being here. I know it has been a minute since I have filmed and posted. Real life was happening, things come up, it's fine. I'm sure all 16 of my viewers here were very much missing my videos though. Happy to announce that I am back, and today I wanted to talk about babysitting app horror stories. There is a very well-known app that I use for my babysitting jobs, my nanny jobs, all that stuff. I've been using it for forever. I'm pretty sure y'all know which one I'm talking about, but just for safety purposes, I'm not going to be mentioning it by name. But these are some of my unfortunate stories with that babysitting app. I would like to preface that none of it in any way, shape, or form is the app or company's fault at all. These are just interactions I've had that weren't necessarily horror stories, that were very sketchy and weird. Overall, I've had an amazing experience with this app. I've met wonderful people through it. I've provided some very useful services for people with it, but there are just some sketchy people who I'm not entirely sure are always actually looking for a nanny. And on the contrary, I'm sure that there are plenty of crazies out there trying to be nannies and get two families. So it's very, very intense, but without further ado, here are my bad babysitting app experiences. So just starting off with like a minor one that just stuck out to me as odd was when I was first using the app several years ago. This was before they got more intense about their caregivers and everyone being required to have background checks done. So this was kind of during that era of anyone can sign up and talk to anybody and just like figure it out yourselves, which obviously didn't go over well, which is why policies changed. But during this time, I had actually gotten reached out to by a man. Normally, you know, you can go on and you can apply for family positions, or people can go search caregivers in their area, and if you pop up and they like you, they can message you first proposing whatever job opportunity they have. So this one was a man who was reaching out to me, and I checked his profile because he had messaged me saying essentially, hey, I need a nanny for my 3 kids. Can you babysit this Friday from 11 p.m. until 4 a.m.? And it was like, that's already kind of, like, it's not unheard of. I've been asked to late night babysit plenty of times before. Things come up, parents have nights out. But starting at 11 and ending at 4 was kind of like an odd middle of the night thing. So it felt weird, and I don't know what y'all believe in, like Holy Spirit, Holy Ghost, intuition, whatever you would like to call it. I just had a really bad feeling about it. The message itself, I'm not saying that everyone who needs a babysitter has perfect grammar, but the message itself was kind of written in a way that put me off guard at first as well. And then the time frame, and like, you know, just being real, being a girl, and it was a man messaging me, that kind of put me on the edge a little bit with that late night time frame. So I went and I just kind of tapped on his profile and looked at it, and it said that he didn't have any kids on his profile. And in his message he had said 3, which I get that like sometimes your profiles can display inaccurate information, but you fill out this information for the purpose of reaching out to caregivers and getting jobs. So I found it odd that his profile said he had no children, and he was messaging me for 3 in the middle of the night on a weekend. It just felt weird. So I ended up ignoring his message, right? And then 2 days later, he messaged me again and like started cussing me out. Like, the message was just like, you ignorant bee, I needed help, and the least you could have done was respond to me. You should be grateful that I was giving you an opportunity. If you still want to, you can. I'm still willing to meet with you, but like, that's very, like, just weird, like aggressive, but like he was still trying to like get me to go. It was weird. It was weird, and that was kind of what solidified for me that maybe, I don't know, this was like a sex trafficking situation. which is also something to be wary of, especially ladies, if you're using apps like this. Please just trust your gut. Usually you're right, and if something feels off, most of the time it's because it is. So that was the first kind of just unpleasant, like, horror story experience I had. Yeah, it was interesting. So then following that, this was one that happened actually really recently, like a couple months ago. So I will like go browse through if I know I'm not doing anything that weekend to go look, and you know, if I'm gonna be at home all weekend, might as well go make a little bit of money on my Saturday night, you know? So I was browsing through and I saw actually not a weekend job, but it was like a part-time early morning position. And with my schedule, that worked out where I was like, oh, like I could do that and then still have a couple hours between when I normally go to work, and like that would be perfect. So I reached out because it was a pretty good gig on the surface, but I reached out and she had 2 kids. She was wanting me for just a few hours in the morning, like, you know, for school, to get there a couple hours early because she said she was a nurse, for school drop off, and then like back at the house with her toddler for like an hour until she got home, and then I would be let go. And so I was like, oh yeah, that's perfect, that works out, I have time for that. Applied, and when she got back to me, the situation just felt weird real quick. And like I said, y'all, I use this app a lot. I have met a lot of people on it. I rarely have bad feelings about this because most of the time it's genuine, it's legit. But like I said, I just can't stress enough, like there are just so many situations in life that can't be avoided if you just trust your gut. You may feel dramatic, you're not, I promise. If you feel like something's off, chances are something's off. This was one of those rare times where as soon as she messaged me, I just got a weird feeling. I was like, I don't think this is what I thought it was when I was signing up. So it was very, first off, what she messaged me was different from the job posting. So she messaged me saying, oh, I need late night nanny services. And I was like, oh, I'm not really open to doing late night nanny services. What hours were you thinking? And she was like, oh, I'm thinking like 10 to 2. Which I thought was a little odd because she was going under, oh, you know, I'm a nurse, so like that's just when I would need the help. But I know, I'm sure it happens on occasion or in some places, but any nurses I know definitely work longer than 4-hour shifts. And so I thought that was weird. I don't know, it just felt kind of weird. And then she was like, well, can I meet you first and like interview in person and get to talk and know each other before I hire you? And that's common. Many people like to have a phone call or a FaceTime or meet you in person and get to know you before they hire you, obviously. I said yes, and then we started making the plans to go and meet. And this is where I got really sketched out. Again, being a woman, you're kind of raised to be careful and overly suspicious. You have to be in this day and age, unfortunately. So a bunch of red flags and alarms started going off in my head when she asked me to meet at a Starbucks that's on the highway, like the major highway here that runs all through the state into other states. And I was like, oh, hi. And she asked me to meet her at 5 a.m. at the Starbucks. So I looked, the Starbucks doesn't open until 7. This particular one that she was wanting to meet at. So that was weird. Like, why are you wanting to meet at a coffee shop at 5 if it's not going to be open at 5, you know? And then just the location being right next to this major highway, I feel like for obvious reasons, I started getting uncomfortable and definitely started jumping to, I'm going to be sex trafficked conclusions. Which I still don't think was far-fetched, because once I said that I was uncomfortable with that location because it was far away from where I was at. She doesn't know where I live, obviously, but I just told her that was a little bit far for me and asked if there was somewhere else in town she would be able to meet, and she was very insistent on, oh no, it has to be at the Starbucks, it's like the only place I have time to go to, it's right there, like it has to be right here. And like I said, the Starbucks is right here. There's a little road. You go up that little ramp, takes you right to the freeway. So I was a little bit like, why do you only want to meet right there? And it was just she was very insistent on, no, it has to be this place really early, like I can't do another time. And that it just felt not right. So I just messaged her back after a little bit of talking to Diego about it. And I was like, hey, I'm so sorry. I think I misread your post and I'm actually not available during these times, but I wish you the best of luck in your search for a caregiver. And she was like, okay, thanks. And that was all she said. And it's still, I'm not trying to make assumptions, but then I saw several like ads for jobs with that same profile picture pop up in the following weeks with different times and needs. So I feel like I definitely dodged a bullet there. And it makes me very sad because I did go and report the other postings because something just seemed odd, like needing so many different hours, like with the same name and picture posting basically 24/7 nanny care. It felt a little off. So I'm just hoping no other girls fell into a trap like that. But that was definitely one of them that could have gotten scary real quick, and the messages turned aggressive real quick. All right, so the last one is more of a story, and this isn't like sex traffic related or anything like that, but this is definitely just my most unfortunate experience.
The anonymous babysitting app I am not mentioning.
So, Diego and I got engaged November, found out we would be moving to Waco in like, I don't even remember when. I don't remember. We got engaged, found out we were going to be moving to Waco, and then I immediately started like looking to jobs. I started applying. I didn't really know what was out here. I didn't know what schools were like out here, and I've worked as a nanny a lot, but I've also worked as an aide at the schools a lot. So I was initially going to work as an aide and get transferred out, but then I was like, wait, like, I don't know anything about those schools out there. I just don't know anything about them yet. So I wanted to come out here, get a feel for all of it, and then work at the schools after I found out a little bit about all the schools. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I will nanny first. Like, I'm a great nanny. I do it all the time. So I hopped on the babysitting app and started applying to jobs that were what I was looking for. Full-time, Waco area, a whole thing, you know? It was a lot of not hearing back, or, oh, sorry, I already filled the job, or just like getting left on red. That happens a lot on the app too. I was kind of just applying, not really hearing a whole lot. A couple I'd talk to and we'd interview, and either I didn't feel like it would be a good fit, or they like interviewed me and then I just never heard back because they went with someone else, and stuff like that. So time goes on. Eventually, one lady who I will call Janet, messages me back and says, hey, my husband and I are doctors. He's military at Fort Hood. And she said, I'm just a doctor, so we need a full-time nanny. We just had our baby girl. She'll be about 8 months old by the time like you're out here ready to work. And we won't need a nanny until then because I'm staying home until she's that old. So she was essentially just filling me in and being like, I looked at your qualifications, I looked at your resume, I think you'd be a really good fit for us. Would you like to be our nanny? And I was like, yeah, definitely, like that sounds good. It's a bit of a commute to Fort Hood, but at the time that was my only and best option, so I was willing to do it. So I agreed to do a phone interview with her, and so she calls me. I go and we have like a 30-40 minute conversation. It's really good, it's going well, we're getting along, and she's like, okay, well, I really like you, expect to be hearing good things, but I need to just confirm with my husband real quick. So I'm like, okay, yeah, of course, I totally understand that, like, go talk to him, get back to me whenever, have a great day. And she's like, yeah, thank you, you too. A few days go by, And then I hear back. She texts me and says, hey Taylor, we talked and I really, really want you to be our nanny and my husband's on board. We discussed pay and agreed, hours and agreed. And she was like, is this good? Is this set? Fair? And I was like, yes, absolutely. And we had talked a lot about situations. So she was like, I know you're engaged and getting married before you move out here. So go enjoy that. Enjoy your engagement, plan your wedding and enjoy it. When you get out here, go ahead and reach out and we can arrange like the first day of your work and all that stuff when you can come up here. And I was like, okay, great, sounds perfect. I did just that. That was really early in the year, like February of 2021. We go through living life, get married in July. We text a couple times here and there, just keeping in touch. But we get married in July and then go on our honeymoon. And we were like halfway through our honeymoon in the middle of the week. And I just like, I got a feeling, you know? So I went and I told Diego, like, you know, I think I'm just gonna text her and confirm because we're gonna be out there next week. Like we had our honeymoon, we had a day, and then we left to drive to Texas. So I was like, I'm just gonna reach out and touch base with her because we'll be out there next week anyways. I don't know, it feels off. And he was like, okay, yeah, go ahead. So I texted her and I was like, hey Janet, just wanted to reach out and see about what time and day next week you wanted to start. I'll be out there on Monday, and I'm good to go right away. Janet lags a little bit, which is fine. And then Janet texts me and says, hey, just so you know, so sorry. My mom's gonna be taking care of the baby, so we actually don't need a nanny anymore. But thank you. Okay, thank you for letting me know. That's what I said. Very just cut and dry. Thank you for letting me know. This lady, Janet, Janet stringed me along from February to July, letting me think I had my job figured out, my career situation, and just decided last second, oh, just kidding. Forgot to tell you. Okay. And this bothered me for obvious reasons because like, how are you responsible for somebody's entire income? You know they're a newlywed moving halfway across the country, relying on you for your end of this deal we agreed on, and you're just gonna last second, oh, totally forgot to tell you, sorry. Janet, really? So, I did not handle this calmly, by the way. I replied to her very short, okay, thank you for letting me know. Period, sent, done. Went back to the hotel room, showed Diego, bawled my eyes out. Bawled my eyes out, you guys. I was panicking so hard because Diego was getting transferred with Target but wasn't going to be working for a couple weeks once we got there. So I was really the one that we were relying on for that first month of being there. So I was like, oh my goodness, panicking, rightfully so. So I hop on the little babysitting app in my hotel room and start just mad applying to any and all jobs that fit what I'm needing, right? So I'm applying frantically, and then I meet my current boss. It's not really a secret, but I'll just call her Amy for the video. I text Amy and she's like, yeah, like you sound great. Would you like to do a FaceTime interview later? Like her nanny that she currently had was going to be leaving to go pursue other things like right away that next week as well. So it worked out where right as she was leaving, I would be starting. So she was like, we're eager to get our situation figured out too, so like let's talk and figure it out. And I was like, yes, please, anything. So we FaceTimed that night. Diego left our hotel room and like went downstairs to give me some space because I was already nervous and anxious. So he left. I hopped on FaceTime with Amy and her husband and we talked. I could tell I was so awkward, y'all, but I feel like I should not have been held responsible for my emotions in that moment. I've been put through a lot on my honeymoon, okay? But I was being really awkward, but like straightforward and talking. and we got along really well. It was just a standard interview where everyone's kind of nervous and like you don't know how to talk to each other. But it went really well. She texted me when we were leaving our honeymoon and said like, "You're hired. We really love you. I feel great about you being our nanny." And I was like, "Yay, thank you." And then she introduced me to all of them, and it's been a dream since then. It's perfect. I got so lucky because I've never worked with a better family. Like, I'm blessed currently. And I've worked with some really amazing people, so I feel like that says a lot. But all that to say, a couple months in to this new job with Amy here in Waco, Janet texted me and said, "Hey Taylor, so it turns out my mom won't be staying with us. It wasn't really working out with her living here and taking care of the kids. Would you be able to come be our nanny still?" Yeah, Janet, yeah, you just dumped me out in the middle of the street like a little orphan child and left me to fend for myself, and all of a sudden you're like crawling back saying, "Hey, can you come? Sorry, mommy dearest, didn't work out." Janet, why would I do that, Janet? So obviously I said no, politely, like, "Sorry, I'm working with another family," well, whatever. And she said, "Okay, thanks," and that was that. But Janet threw me for a loop, y'all. On my honeymoon, after having been committed to this job for like 5 months prior, it was just a really bad situation. I'm sure if I wanted to, I could think of other just not amazing encounters on that app, but on this babysitting app, most of the experiences are amazing. The app itself is amazing, and yeah, those were some of my babysitting app horror stories. If y'all like this video, please go ahead and let me know by giving it a like, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already. If you haven't already, please go ahead and check out that description box. I have a bunch of stuff linked down below, and thank you so much for being here. See y'all next time. Bye.